Hey, welcome to the Danger Zone. It's Ashley. Everything in this video can be found on a public domain, and the full disclaimer is down below. And I want to say a big thank you to everybody that helped contribute to this video. Lots of love and many blessings your way. I have to be honest with you, I wasn't a bit shocked. I was totally unfazed when I read this article, but I thought it was worthy enough to share it with you. One of Meghan's former co-stars on Suits recently came out talking about what kind of person Meghan really was. Said she had diva behavior back then. She didn't think a thing about holding people up. She'd be in her dressing room for hours, throwing tantrums, having it out with all of the people who organized this production, trying to make changes to wardrobe and even the script. Now, initially, her part was not to have lasted as long as it did, and they were really banking on writing her off a lot sooner than what they ended up doing. They said she was just nasty and extremely intolerable, and to the people behind the scenes that did the real work, like her drivers or the caterers, she would raise all kinds of hell with these people, treating them like total garbage, taking her bad days out on them. They say she was called out so many times for her ill treatment, her bad behavior. But when she started leaking that Harry was in her life, it just blew it up to a whole nother level. And after that took place, whenever he would show up on set to watch her do her thing, they said everybody was hoping that Harry could open his eyes and pick up on how she treated people and run for the hills. Listen, after seeing Harry for who he truly is, I couldn't wish Meghan on a better person. Anyway, getting on with it, let me tell you something. Even to see the Queen, you have to make an appointment. So everything that goes on within that family is by strict protocol only, even for members of the family. So leading up to the wedding, on a whim, Meghan and Jessica decided they wanted to go and check out some tiara options in the tiara cabinet. I wish my house had a tiara cabinet, don't you? So they arrived to the castle, unannounced, trying to get into this tiara cabinet. Now, the one responsible for the keys, the one that's over this tiara cabinet, happens to be Angela Kelly. Now, that's the Queen's senior dresser of 18 years. This woman just so happened to have been out of town. So Meghan had Harry contact this woman and make a demand on her. She was to hop on a flight immediately and bring those keys, open that cabinet. And she was not to hold up Jessica and Meghan. And the woman told him, they'll have to make an appointment. It just doesn't work that way, Harry. You should know. Harry cussed this woman like a dog, ripping completely into her. Now, this woman did the right thing. She ended up contacting the Queen immediately, letting the Queen know what was going on, what took place and what Harry said, and how he treated her. And they said the Queen called Harry into her office immediately. They say she crept all over him, up one side and down the next, letting him know he don't speak to her people this way. It won't happen again. And even though it wouldn't have been genuine, I really hope she forced him to apologize. And they said that she let Meghan know, there's rules here. We don't drop in at any time on anybody, especially when it comes to making diva demands. So do you think she and Jessica went there to try on tiaras? I'm going to tell you what I think they were doing there. Harry is a joke, a moron, a clown. So Meghan went into this recording and documenting everything. Now, really fast, I wanted to share with you guys the family's enthusiasm, their excitement for Meghan joining in. That speaks volumes. To me, it feels more like a funeral in these pictures. Well, not for everybody. Doria seemed to be having a real good time. You can almost read her mind. She's a millionaire now, y'all. And just like her mama, you can read her mind too. She wasn't into Harry back then. And getting on with it, since finding freedom didn't turn out the way she planned. Backfired all up in her face. It was such a disappointment for Meghan, and big time stressor. Now, according to my good buddy Jay, I'm going to share with you what he told me. So Meghan, keeping all the journals, the recordings, documenting everything, she shared it all with Oprah, allegedly. So now she's working with Oprah on releasing this. They say she's headed to Oprah's for a respite. And during this time is when they're going to work on this project, exposing Meghan's true story in her own words. How nasty, considering Charles is still flipping the bill. They also have another project in the works, and this one has everything to do with Lucy's Trust and the United Nations. Lucy's Trust was started by a woman named Alice Bailey. Alice Bailey was the author of the 10 points on how to usher in the New World Order. The little insignia reminds me of the Travelist one so much. Back in the early 1900s, Alice Bailey started Lucifer's Publishing, which turned into Lucy's Trust. They work hand in hand with the United Nations and several other organizations. There's something about Meghan that reminds me of Alice Bailey. It's real creepy. It was told to me that Lucy's Trust will be the ones publishing for Oprah these journal entries, these diaries. Keep in mind, this organization is also funded heavily in part by George Soros. And the main organization behind Lucy's Trust, Meghan's been involved with for many years. She's not a newbie on their scene. We're going to talk a lot more in detail about that next. But I'm warning you, it might flip your wig a little bit. She and Harry, along with many others, are deeply involved. So getting back to the tiara cabinet incident, I think that Meghan and Jessica were there for other reasons, not just a tiara. We'll find out all the details once Oprah releases it. Now, if you haven't heard, her family's come out yet again. It seems like every so many months, like clockwork, they do poke out. So according to Thomas Markle Jr., he's really upset with Meghan's decision to quit the royal family. He and Thomas Sr. are going on and on about how stupid it was. And her dad even said, this is the dumbest thing Meghan has ever done in her entire 45 years. Well, he didn't say 45, I did. He did say that this was the stupidest thing she's ever done in her entire life. And Mr. Markle's given up all hope of ever meeting Murchie or having a reunion with his daughter. I mean, who would want to? She just dogged him publicly in front of the entire world. And now that he's getting on with his life, as well as her brother, Thomas Jr., and they've lost all hope of ever spending a Christmas holiday with the Rules, they seem to be coming out swinging, letting it all hang out, their real feelings. I want to know what happened to Mr. Markle coming out every month until she contacted him, telling her secrets. I'd also like to know, where is this book that Samantha had in the works? Kind of makes me think they've been paid off, truly. To those folks out there that say they have a friendly relationship with Samantha, please ask her. I'd love to know. So aside from Mr. Markle and his son coming out talking, it seems Doria's neighbors have been chattering too. They came out acting sort of offended that she was barely at home anymore. Are they playing or are they serious? Have they not heard she's been cooped up in a mega mansion? Why would she want to come home? Aside from it sitting on a massive plot of land, having several different wings, every amenity under the sun, and it cost her not a dime to stay like that? Is it really that difficult to figure out? I don't understand what her neighbors are taking so personally. Hey neighbors, when everything goes down and they finally get busted, she'll be back. It might be in 5 to 10, but she'll be back. Then they were talking her up real big, letting us all know she's had 3 entire years of mental health issue experience, and that she was a fantastic yoga instructor. Well, thank goodness for the yoga knowledge. I'm sure that's come in handy most definitely since she's been staying there with them at the mega mansion. After all, Harry is super pressured and stressed out lately. Either he's going on about an hour every 3 or 4 days worth of rest, or he's joined the Black Eye Club. I guess he would be trying to find some sort of security somewhere else, maybe in his new group of friends, considering everything they've been affiliated with is under extreme investigation as we speak. The donation money they were recently busted, taking and spending as they choose, those are the least of their worries. So in case you haven't heard the latest, Uncle Sam's knocking on the door, and he don't play. Here in the States, it's easier to get away with murder than it is avoiding your taxes. I sure hope it was worth it, Harry. You're in a big old mess. I'll see you soon and we'll talk fast. Y'all stay safe and be blessed.